Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. This is part 1 of racism. Alright, so before we begin, you guys know the drill that I'm about to throw. So, first drill. My name is James Williams Jr. My ethnicity consists of Cherokee Indian, black, and white. I do not have the right to be a racist, but I have the right to call out racist propaganda and racist pieces of crap when I see them. If you have been called out on this channel, it is because you have done something shameful and you are of the three races in which I hail from. Which means if you are black, if you are Native American, if you are white, I have called you out. If you are Chinese, I have called you out because Chinese and Native Americans are biologically one and the same. It's just that the evolution of Native Americans, because of their world journeys, some of them don't look as Asian as others. However, Native Americans are biologically Asian. I'm not going to have this fight with anybody. I've had this fight in many of Facebook groups before, and to be honest with you, it was my Korean friend that taught me that shit because, like I said, I was oblivious. I just thought Native Americans were from Atlantis. Who knew? Anyway, so let's talk about racism because you can make racist statements and not have a racist bone in your body. And that is the thing. There are a lot of people who blatantly make racist statements and don't really know that they made a racist statement and they catch themselves just a little too late. One of the blatant racist statements, and a lot of us won't even really consider it a racist statement, is that, some of my best friends are black. You may mean that with good intentions, but sometimes it can come off as a racist statement. Even if it's not a racist statement to most, it still can be passed off as a racist statement. So that's the same thing as me saying some of my best friends are Asian or Chinese. And then people will like, oh yeah? Name one. Okay, so I can name some, but I won't name them here because I don't want them to have any association with my opinions. Because when you have your friends and you voice your opinions, people who don't like you won't like your friends. Now, you may think that I'm dodging a bullet there. No, I'm telling the truth because IK, who taught me that Native Americans are Asian, he's the son of a preacher. Another one of my good friends, SG, he takes very good pictures. So I don't want them to be chastised for shit that comes out my mouth and how I feel. EC, one of my actors in one of my films. AK, another actor in one of my films. In fact, they were in the same film. I don't know Philip's last name, so he is from the Philippines, and another actor in one of my films. All three of those Asians. I went to school with a guy named K. I went to same school actually with another guy who was V. There was a chick that I had a crush on named Hannah, and there was another chick named Hannah that I had a crush on that I was working my business, but both of them had boyfriends, and I'm not a home worker. And then there's some other Asian girls that I've dabbled with and had crushes on and talked to, but they just weren't really into the interracial dating thing. Plus, they didn't know what the hell I was, so by playing safety, yeah, we're not sure where you are. We're not going to date you. So, therefore, we're off of that now. But I do have a lot of Asian friends, and I've been worried about them since our current administration started calling it the Chinese flu. Although most of my friends aren't Chinese, they're Vietnamese and Korean. Alright? I got two Chinese friends who were in films with me. But, when you don't know the difference between Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Korean, Laos, Indonesian, Malaysian, Polynesian, then we all pretty much say that they all look the same, and that endangers all of my friends, which is why I did not name any of them except for Philip, whose last name I don't remember. So therefore, there's also the Bowie sisters. I'm not going to mention their first names because I don't know where they are, and I hope they're doing well, and I apologize to everyone of my failing acting career. Because I've been at this for 20 years. Trust me when I tell you, it's beyond a failing acting career. So, making a blatant racist statement, as I just said, but I proved that I have names of Asians that I know. I have a not so equal amount of black friends. Alright? And I talked to one of my black friends today, CH, who was also an actor in one of my films, or in a few of my films. He just let us down in the last saga. Um, you know, uh, I mentioned Jay Diz and all them all the time too. And again, I don't give their full names, but because I don't want them to be associated with my personal opinion. Because every person that I mention has an opinion of their own, which probably doesn't relate to mine. But when it comes down to blatant racism, you know, I do my damnedest to call everybody out on it. Alright? And the reason why I can do that is because, one, if you're a racist, you're a damn racist. And the thing about that is, I don't have a problem with you being a racist if you're honest about it. I do have a problem being a racist when there's a good chance that I'm not going to see the knife because you're stabbing me in the back. I'd rather you stab me in the face and let me see it coming versus you stabbing me in the back and me not seeing it coming. No. I'm just thinking some people who follow me on Instagram. If my phone would stop fracking up. Now, let's get to this point. Alright. As I know, for right now, I still have 97 followers. I'll have to fact check that later. But, I call it like it is. And I would prefer anyone who's watching this channel to really only watch my Kung Fu videos. I don't want you watching my political association. Yeah, I vote Democrat. Alright? I voted for Hillary twice. And I voted for Elizabeth Warren. So let me get that out the way before you guys start digging into my ass. I voted for Hillary because I liked her. I voted her for the second time was because she lost to Obama, and I much rather had seen her in office than Obama. No offense to y'all Obamalites. No offense to y'all who like Trump. But I'm going to insult him too. Alright? Now, when it came to Biden and Warren, Warren has proven that she has at least 7% Native American blood in her. Granted, all of the Native American nations have given her shit for it, which equally means, and I'm going to call us out on it, that there's an equal amount of racist Native Americans as there is racist blacks and racist Asians. So therefore, if the shoe fits, you're going to feel it. She had to do this so that our head administrator would stop calling her Pocahontas. Especially when he did that in front of the Navajo Nation's warriors who fought in World War II. If you're not seeing this man as a racist, you really need your glasses wiped out. Alright? How you gonna insult Pocahontas, who one was not Navajo, she was Powhatan, and talk about her in front of Navajo? And I'm like, okay, because Navajo, Apache, and some Lakota were wind talkers. Or code talkers, or both. And I'm not sure if Cherokee participated in them because Powhatan, Seminole, Cherokee, Manhattan Indians, most of the Eastern Seaboard Indians were practically defeated before World War I and II ever really got off the ground. So when you talk about how Native Americans was assimilated into this world, how could it not be possible for her to have Native American blood? She went out and she proved it. And for me, her proving it is like the same shit that I have to go through so that I can get things worked out with college. But I mostly want to join the Native American nation because I belong there. Simple as that. I have Native American blood, I have black blood, and I have white blood. I belong there because half-breed or unpure blood or not, I am still one of those people. Now, I just gotta spit in a cup and mail that shit off right now. I can't do it because all my money's tied up in legalities of trying to get this book deal to work. There you go. But at the same time, like I said, I can point out how many times on each hand I've had racist events from 3 different ethnicities. I've had 2 racist events from Native Americans. I've had 4 to 5 racist events from white people. I've had about 7 to 25 racist events from black people. So I can call it out, and I hate saying that shit, but some black people are okay, and some black people are just fucking stuck in their ways and just hating people who are mixed. It's like, you're not one of us. Here's the problem with that. If you're black, pay attention, because this affects you. Every black American on this planet, if you're black and you're American, there is a high probability that there is this much black blood in you, this much Native American blood in you, and this much white blood in you, because during slavery and the indoctrination of black people, also the inception of black people into society, a lot of black women were raped by white men. A lot of free slaves was indoctrinated into Native American tribes. There is a Native American rainbow coalition of blacks and Native Americans that have made it together and made people like me. So if you're black and you don't go check your ancestral records, or your grandmother's eyes were slightly slanted like mine, your ass may be Native American as well. But see, I embrace my heritages, which is why I don't have the right to be a racist, which is why I also have the right to call out racists in all three ethnicities that the earth is around. I know I made a video about this last night, so let's rehash this real quickly. All right, so Caucasoid, white people. Negrozoid, black people. Mongoloid, Asian people. Native Americans fall into the Mongoloid category. So if you are of Native American descent, and that includes Eskimos, Aztec, Incans, Mayans, and all the North American tribes, guess what? Your ass is fucking Asian, which means we're Mongoloids. I, on the other hand, am the Omega hybrid, because I am not just Caucasoid, Negroloid, and Mongoloid. I'm Omegaloid. Anyway, that being said, I thought you guys would like that, being a Captain America shirt now. Let's keep this real, keep this to business. When it comes down to racism, it is a really short line. You may not be racist and say a lot of racist statements. If that is our current administration's problem, then he may need to be slapped across the face and let him realize, hey dude, you can't say shit like that. But that's not happening. Now, here's that thing about racism. There ain't an ethnicity on this earth that is completely unracist. We have people who, for the lack of a better term, don't see color. We see people as people. That's a true fact, but you still see color. I just don't see you as a person of color when I'm talking about you, unless somebody asks me, and they have that right. It's like, so if I'm talking about Bob, it's like, so your friend Bob, is Bob black or white or whatever? Because people are going to ask. So let's say Bob's black. I'm going to tell them, yeah, Bob is black, but what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Or let's say Bob's a white guy. I say, so when we talk to you about Bob, how's Bob? Is Bob male, female, straight, gay, gender conformative, whatever? Is he black? Is he white? Well, here's how I'm going to answer that. If Bob's white. Well, Bob is white. I have no idea what the blue hell his sexual orientation is, because that's just not my business. But you can ask Bob. Sorry to my friend Bob, who's not too far from us, and he is actually black. But, I just used that name because it was a random name in a hat. But, there's always going to be a racist person regardless of their ethnicity. It's going to be a racist black person. It's going to be a racist white person. It's going to be a racist Asian person. And here's that thing. I will go into a longer set of this in the second video, but here's that thing about racism. If we don't address it, we can't fix it. Be seeing ya.